Thomas sat quietly on his old wooden porch in a quiet American town, the golden afternoon sun warming the floorboards. On a nearby leaf, a tiny cocoon trembled with a desperate, silent effort that seemed to consume all its energy. He leaned in closer, watching the faint, ragged struggle of a creature fighting for its very existence against the stubborn silk walls. A battle of life and death in a garden of peace. We often think we are saving a life, but sometimes kindness at the wrong time is the sharpest blade of all. The afternoon sun hung low over a quiet suburban street, painting the wooden porch in shades of orange and amber. It was the kind of peaceful American Saturday where the world seems to hold its breath. But for Thomas, all his attention was captured by a tiny drama unfolding on a leaf nearby. A small opening had appeared in a cocoon. Inside, a butterfly was fighting a desperate battle. It pushed, it strained, it twisted its fragile body, trying to squeeze through a hole that looked far too small. Thomas watched for what felt like hours. He could see the tiny legs searching for a grip, the body tensing with every ounce of strength it possessed. Suddenly, the butterfly stopped. It didn't move for a long time. It sat there, half in and half out, looking utterly exhausted. It seemed as though it had gone as far as it could and had simply given up. The silence of the garden felt heavy. Thomas felt a wave of sadness wash over him. He looked at the creature and felt it struggle as if it were his own. It stuck, he thought. It suffered enough. His heart was filled with a pure, simple kindness. He couldn't bear to watch such a beautiful thing break under the weight of its own birth. He felt he had to do something. He wanted to take away the pain, to make the journey easy, to be the hand that brings freedom. He didn't see a process. He only saw a struggle that needed to end. Slowly, he reached into his pocket, his mind already decided on what he must do to help. Thomas walked into his house and returned with a small pair of scissors. He felt a sense of duty, a calling to end the suffering he was witnessing. With a steady hand and a heart full of compassion, he snipped the remaining bit of the cocoon. The silk parted easily, and the struggle was over. "You're free now," he whispered, waiting for the magical moment when the butterfly would spread its vibrant wings and vanish into the sky. But the magic never came. Instead of soaring, the butterfly simply emerged and fell. It tumbled from the leaf and landed on the wooden floor of the porch with a soft, hollow thud. Thomas leaned in, expecting it to recover, but his breath caught in his throat. The creature before him was not the beautiful insect he had imagined. Its body was strangely large and swollen, heavy with fluid. Its wings were tiny, shriveled, and stuck to its sides like pieces of damp, crumpled paper. The butterfly didn't fly. It couldn't. It spent the rest of its life crawling painfully in small circles, dragging its heavy abdomen across the wood. Those wings, which were meant to carry it to the highest flowers, remained useless and limp. A cold feeling settled in Thomas's chest. He had wanted to be a savior. He had wanted to show mercy. But as he watched the butterfly struggle on the ground, far more helpless than it had been inside the cocoon, a painful question began to haunt him. Why did his kindness lead to such a broken result? Why did his help turn into a curse? He looked at his hands, the very hands that had tried to do good, and felt a deep, confusing hollow in his heart. He had tried to save the butterfly from its battle, only to realize he'd stolen its only chance to fly. Thomas sat with his head in his hands, staring at the floor in silence. He didn't hear the screen door creak or the soft, slow footsteps on the wooden porch. It was only when a warm, weathered hand rested gently on his shoulder that he looked up. His grandfather sat down beside him, his eyes resting on the tiny, broken butterfly struggling on the floorboards. "You wanted to help him, didn't you, Thomas?" the old man asked softly. There was no judgment in his voice, only a deep, quiet compassion. Thomas nodded, his voice trembling. "I just didn't want it to hurt anymore. I thought I was saving it." The grandfather looked out at the golden horizon and began to speak in a calm, healing tone. "You see, Thomas, in his wisdom, the Creator designed that struggle to be a gift. That tiny hole in the cocoon is a narrow gate. When the butterfly fights to squeeze through it, the pressure forces the life fluid from its swollen body into its wings. It is a painful process, but it is the only way." He paused, letting the silence of the afternoon carry his words. Without that intense struggle, the wings remain shriveled and weak. They never get the strength they need to catch the wind. By cutting the silk and making the journey easy, you unintentionally took away his power. You gave him comfort, but you cost him his sky. Thomas looked back at the butterfly, finally understanding the heavy truth. Our lives are very much like that cocoon, the old man continued. We all have our own battles to fight and our own weights to carry. Sometimes, the pain we feel is the very thing that is preparing us to soar. If we lived our lives without any obstacles, we would be crippled. We would never be as strong as we were meant to be. Remember, grandson, you cannot save everyone from their struggle, because their struggle is their strength. Sometimes, the greatest act of love is simply to wait, to watch, and to let them find their own way to fly. From today's short story, we learned a hard but beautiful truth. You cannot save everyone from their struggles. Sometimes, the most loving thing you can do is to step back and let them face their own storm, because that is where their wings find the strength to fly. Standing still and cheering them on is often the greatest help of all. Comment growth if you believe that hardships are a gift. Don't forget to like and follow for more life lessons. Stay strong and let them fly.